Hello and welcome to the Corporate Facilities Council's webinar, which is also IFMA's Benefit of the Month, Technology Design Responses to a Post-COVID Workplace, presented by Robbie Pitts, Eric Evans, and Mark Wilson. I do want to let everyone know that they have been muted for audio quality and that this webinar is being recorded. If you have any questions at any time during the webinar, please type them into the question box on your control panel, and we will go over them during the Q&A portion at the end of the webinar. The recording of this webinar will be on the CFC's website, which is ifmacfc.org. You may also access past CFC website webinars there as well. Again, their website is ifmacfc.org. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Wayne Wetzel, the CFC Secretary and Programs Chair. Wayne, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Joshua, and as always, thanks to you and the folks at HQ for helping us put on these wonderful webinars and hosting these for us. We appreciate it. I just wanted to say a few words about the IFMA Corporate Facilities Council. We are the place for operations and management. There's a lot of great design things happening in our world, but those things need to be managed and taken care of after they're put into places. And that's really what we focus on at the CFC, dealing with corporate campus space. If you're a portfolio managing FM, we're the place for you and your staff, actually, to get them to start coming to these meetings as well to learn. Today, we're very excited to put on this program with these three very talented folks from One Workplace. As you all know, COVID is changing our world in so many ways, and getting a grip on that, there's a lot of information flowing around out there, and we're all looking for direction, innovation, stability, and really general advice about some of this stuff without some of the hyperbole I see going on out there. And what you're going to hear today from these three folks is some very good information. And again, this is something I think you're probably going to want to look at after the fact at the YouTube link, because it's going to be chock full of information and tips. So let me introduce our speakers. First, we have Robbie Pitts. Robbie is the General Manager of Technology for all the One Workplace offices. And Robbie provides engineering, operations, and sales oversight for the One Workplace technology team. Next, we have Eric Evans, who is the Senior Strategic Account Manager. Eric has over 20 years of experience in integration and implementation of commercial audiovisual technology solutions. Is heavily involved with every aspect of technology, from planning, design, project management, all the way through final commissioning. And lastly, we have Mark Wilson. He's the Technology and Sales Director for One Workplace. And as Sales Director, Mark guides the team with over 20 years of industry experience and a demonstrated history of working in the audiovisual, UC, IT, and broadcast industries. His strong business development skills in sales leadership, sales, digital technologies, and audiovisual as a service will guide the team to reach your project technology goals. And with that, I would like to introduce the One Workplace team. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Wayne. And I just want to say thank you for joining us today and taking time out of your busy day for this presentation. Looks like we lost Mark there, but hopefully he'll get back on.
And I'm on, Eric. I turned my camera off for bandwidth. Sorry, everybody. Good morning.
So what we want to talk about today is how technology can lead us back to work. And let's talk about, pre-COVID, really what our hope is always been to design spaces that are healthy, safe, productive, and foster intimate human connection. And as a designer myself, I mean, that's technology plays a place in that, in how we are productive, how we can feel safe, how we can feel healthy, and we can especially foster that intimate connection. Here's a new word for you, possibly. The power of propinquity. Now I can't even pronounce it. Propinquity. And what this really means is that we all, as humans, we desire to, we love relationships. We need to be in relationships. We need to be close to one another. There's, proximity. The closer you are to someone, the more likely you are to develop a bond.
Sorry.
But we need each other, and frequency. The more often you connect with someone, the stronger that bond will become. And affinity. The more similarities you share with someone, the faster that bond will grow. It's been said that there's been a lot of studies, and for this, before this crisis happened, it sometimes it takes like Wayne was alluding to, it takes a problem to figure out different solutions. And I think one of the things that there's been lots of studies, but I think there is a lot of studies that say, and I know in my own life, that we do want to expect to return to the office. In fact, most people feel like that in the future that they want to return back to the office. There's some people that want to return to the office, the mixed use, whether it's home or and back at work. And then there's only a few people through these studies that they just they want to wait till till it's safe.
And Eric, if I can chime in, this is how timely is this conversation, right? I mean, 3 months ago we'd be talking about this, but we'd be talking about it in a different angle, like, hey, the new year is coming and everyone's going to return to work miraculously at the new year. Well, as we know, in this week and last week, and here where I'm at in Seattle, Washington, we're rolling back. We're going back to very deep restrictions, 25% occupancy in the workspaces, restaurants closed. I know California is experiencing similar actions, as well as along the rest of the West Coast and other spots, hot spots in the country. So we now know we're looking at a timeline that's greater. It's summer for a lot of companies, and it's just timely that we're here talking about this with you today, and with a schedule in mind, and with the facilities teams that are on this call from different sizes of offices, from small, medium, and large, and a lot of studies out there and a lot of conversations, and we're learning about the hierarchy of the needs. And so I'm just grateful that everybody's here, and I know it's a troubling time, but a time that's great to have this conversation as we do roll back for a few more weeks here and start planning ahead.
It was interesting when we looked at a lot of the statistics out there over the course of the last several months since the pandemic hit. The more choices people have to work, the more important it is to understand those work preferences. And what we found in a lot of the surveys, when respondents were asked a simple question, where would you prefer to work among these 4 options? We've all worked in a coffee shop. We've all worked in co-working space. We've all worked in our homes, obviously, because we're all working at home today, and the workplace itself. And believe it or not, the actual workplace outranked them all. Now, the home came in second, obviously, because of the current situation. But what we are looking at is, how does technology impact bringing people back to work in a very safe and sufficient fashion back to the workplace, which is the most prevalent for their interaction and so forth.
Exactly. So let's take a look at some of our needs through the COVID-19, kind of the hierarchy of needs. And as this crisis first started, one of the things that our company focused on was, to all employees, was, hey, be safe, stay home, health and wellness. And that continues today. That we have to, whether it's, we want to be, we're going to be the most productive when we're healthy and we're well. And the second thing is security and safety. As we think about coming back to work, we want to be able to feel safe. We want to feel secure. But then as we move up, there's those needs where we want to belong. We want that connectedness. It's like a team. And in fact, the dichotomy of business nowadays is, management is more like a coach than say, a top-down tier. And in order to coach a team, we need to be together. we need that camaraderie. We need that belonging to one another. I mean, can you imagine a coach trying to coach a team, virtually? It's really hard, and we
It'd
need.
be nice. Yeah, and Eric, it'd be great if the three of us were sitting in one room, being a true panel, right? The Zoom fatigue is real. Call it what you will, but and when we met and planned this session out, I think the first thing I said after doing this for 6 or 7 months of being on online meetings was, boy, wouldn't it be great if we were in a room together, right? That social belonging, that connectedness. It's a real panel. I can't even have my camera on right now because otherwise I'll lose signal, right? Talk about connectedness, literally and figuratively. We're living it right now. And that water cooler is missing, right? We found in studies, returning to the water cooler is a big want on the list of folks. And that helps build camaraderie, like you mentioned, teamwork, collaboration, and we all know that innovation and productivity goes a lot better when we're all involved.
We also have to keep in mind age of our working population, the different age groups, and their preferences as well. The younger folks prefer to work at home. Some of us who are used to working in social and connected and environments from the past are very, very comfortable in that. So we have to make sure that technology, the facilities, and everything can accommodate all walks of life and not cater to one or the other.
Yeah, and part of our needs is again, as we become part of a company, part of a team, there's that need in us to have that confidence in ourselves, and knowing that we're contributing to our work, to society, and it's that mission, right? And that we can be inspired, others can inspire us, and then that we can be changed, and as a company we can reach and have an impact in our communities. So those are in kind of the hierarchy of needs. Let's take a look at the problem obviously has been the business impact of COVID-19 with companies having to shut their doors, working remote. It's had a huge impact on us all. And so the design problem in front of us is really, how do we mitigate the COVID-19 virus threat? How do we, through technology, how do we do that? And our response is to take a look at some different technology solutions, which I believe will help provide a path forward. When we look at safety and security, and we look at functionality, we want to look at three things. The first thing is we want to look at how flexible it's going to be, because we don't know how fast or how slow we're going to come back to work. Is it going to be 50% work from home, 50% come back to work? Is it going to be, and it's going to change depending upon how fast we have a vaccine or other antibiotics, etc. for COVID. And the second thing is that we want to feel secure, not just secure in that we feel safe, but secure technology-wise. One of the crises that we had as a company that is we a few months ago were hacked, and so we want to make sure that we're it's a secure solution to help us manage this this crisis.
It's a great point, Eric, and we've been leading some discussions this week with a company-wide meeting that we're having this week, and we could probably spend the rest of the hour on this slide alone with safety and security. It's such a hot topic. It involves not just facilities, it involves the IT team as well. But when we polled our folks in a breakout session yesterday in the meeting I mentioned, the bulk of our time was spent on safety and security. And it is many facets to that. It is the employee returning to work because they feel safe and secure, right? They want to go to work. We talked about that in the previous slides. We know folks want to get back and collaborate and be together and build the team and be around the water cooler and be innovative and collaborative. But to do that, they have to feel safe going to work. You know, I'm driving to work and I'm thinking, boy, how many people are going to be there? Am I going to be okay? Should I go hide in the corner? We have to provide a secure and safe environment that gives everybody that peace of mind, right? Peace of mind is half the battle in all of this. And so we've got solutions around that to help ease that peace of mind and create that peace of mind.
Exactly.
And we're probably in a very unique situation because we are a interior design, furniture, technology and construction company all kind of rolled into one. So we approach things from a little different perspective and are able to because of the different facets of the business that we can touch. And when you combine, you know, one of the things that we found very, very successful is sitting down with the stakeholders within the organizations like yours to understand the challenges that you're having, not only at the employee level, but from an enterprise level, and understand, you know, the environment that you're currently working in, and the needs that you currently have, and help you figure out a way to evolve to that new way of doing business and bringing people back to work and looking at everything. So I encourage you all, as you probably are today, to make sure that when you have discussions about bringing people back to work, that you include all of the stakeholders of the organization, because it does in fact impact and touch each and every one. So from a technology perspective, it may be IT and facility. From a spatial design, things like that, you'll find that your facilities people will be involved. If you're doing capacity planning, if you're doing any type of capacity management as a result of the COVID situation, and you're implementing technology to help you with that, you'll want to make sure that you've got all the stakeholders involved in that discussion so that you can come up, so that people like us can lead you through those discussions and help you come up with a configuration that makes best sense for your business.
And that really moves us to that central hub idea, right, Eric?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, obviously we want it to be a central hub and integrated, throughout the facilities, so that you, for example, like tapping into your existing network. And this technology solution, there are a number of them, but there has been around actually pre-COVID. But obviously now with COVID, this becomes even a more important type of solution, technology solution. How do we support a distributed workforce? We talked about this. Is it 50% people at home or 50% at work? How are we going to just really support and communicate with everyone in the company? Scaling with the changing needs and gaining insights into trends. We want to be able to kind of be ahead of the curve to discover, wow, we're going to have more people come back to work than we thought. We need to make some changes. And then we want to also monitor COVID compliances. Make sure that we're staying, abreast of all the policies that need to be implemented, and we want to make sure that, again, that we're communicating that.
And so what are we talking about? Sorry, Eric. So in the meat and bones of it all, what are we talking about when we say we got to tap into your network? We've got to monitor compliances. We've got to scale to your changing needs, right? You want to know what a solution is. Well, we're seeing a mobile app and sensors, right? If you're asking why are they talking about the network, you've already heard about sensors and what they're doing. And Eric mentioned they've been around before COVID-19. They were in place for room analytics, positioning analytics, usability of spaces and room sizes. And we use that info for design purposes. Now it's shifted. We're using those sensors for things, and we'll go through it on this slide, which is just an incredible graphic. And I love this slide, Eric.
Yeah, I mean, we want to know things. I mean, the saying there's an app for that, but there is an app for that. And, the first thing is that we want to have the navigation. When we wake up in the morning, am I going to go to a space that's going to be clean? It's going to be safe, and I can book a desk that I know that's going to be spatially distanced. There's going to be on social distancing and contact tracing. Before I even arrive at the office, I'm going to fill out a health questionnaire and make sure that I'm being safe. And then the other thing too is we talked about communication, and maybe you can go into this a little bit deeper, Mark, is employee communications through this mobile device. One of the things that we found is that because we're displaced, it's hard to communicate all the time, and this is a platform that might be able to do this.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. And so with a mobile app from a variety of providers, what one of our partners found was they large company, tech company, they had a number of mobile apps that each employee could download on their phones and have to stay in touch for checking out the menu in the cafeteria, or getting the HR bulletins for the blood drive, or company picnic this weekend, or maybe each team used an own app. Well, this particular company had 14 apps that their employees could use, and they put on this other app that I'm referring to, and quickly thereafter, the use case of the apps dropped. They found out that they went from 14 apps to 4 apps being used. And they also found then, shortly after that, COVID came and rollback, and people went and worked from home, and they thought, well, what did we just invest in all these apps for? And that one app that just took us down to 4, great, now it's useless because everyone's at home. Guess what, folks? The app use went up 4 times. And why did it go up 4 times when you're working from home? It did that for the company culture. They found people were going to the app to find out what's going on. They found out they're going to the app to feel a part of the company. They found out they could do group chats with their teams on the app. Or maybe they got updates of, hey, you can come to the office during this time if you go to this area. The apps provided a sense of safety and security. So on this slide, you see desk booking. Through an app, you can book a desk. If you're in a hoteling desks workstation model, you could book the desk from the phone. You could see a map on the phone that says, hey, look, I can go sit at this desk, and I see that these other 3 desks around me are blocked off and not available, right? Or you could navigate. You can do mapping from, obviously we all know about mapping on our apps, right, from driving directions, but for customers or for patients in healthcare, mind you, you could indoor navigate through the app. Hey, the app recommends you park in garage A because that's the closest entrance to where your appointment is. Or if it's a multi-building campus, it can direct you to those spaces. If everyone's on the app, you could get buzzed by the app saying, hey, back up, you're 3 feet close, you're too close to each other, right? So Big Brother's watching, but the app is providing a lot of offerings that help people feel, like we've said, safe and secure. It helps them collaborate. It helps them communicate. It could send out cleaning alerts saying, hey, conference room 1 is clean and available. Or it says, don't use this room, it hasn't been cleaned yet.
Yeah, Mark, let's take a little bit deeper look at the seamless outdoor-indoor navigation, the touchless building access on the next slides.
Yeah, one thing just like to add to this too is the features that you see listed on this were the most popular things that we found with clients in terms of their needs. And when we were searching for solutions that could help and even to advise you folks like yourself on the phone, these are the top issues that people were faced with on a daily basis and needed a solution all encompassed. They talked about the many applications, the many apps that were on phones and things like this. All these things can be combined into a single application, which makes it so much simpler for the employee and makes things much easier for them, which increases the engagement in the organization. So, employee engagement is probably one of the most prevalent things going on and measured in organizations today, especially in the COVID environment. And things like this, or applications like this, and solutions like this, can help increase employee engagement and give them the appropriate information that they need. And they can do it on their own time too. I think it's important to know that you can do that on your own time. You're not sitting on seminars or webinars or conference calls or Zoom. I mean, you could be sitting in your living room and pass information from the company and learn about things simply by opening up your device instead of looking at Facebook. So just a point I wanted to make. But these are the top items that our enterprise customers are seeking today.
Robbie, why don't you go ahead and
continue
continue
now.
to share about
Sorry.
the touchless access.
Again?
Share about the touchless building access.
Yeah, many of our customers are out there today looking for solutions for instance, if you're approaching a building, to be able to have a QR code on your device that will open the door. It will enable the security system to know who you are, open the door. You get into the entranceway into the building. There's a kiosk there. You use the same QR code. The kiosk opens up and lets you through. Walk up to the elevator. The application knows which floor and which desk you've booked. It'll open the elevator, take you exactly to that floor, and then give you a map to your location. So basically, everything that you've done from outside entrance to your desktop is completely touchless. And there's technology out there today that can help simplify that for you, as well as if you're going to have a conference call and you want to go into a conference room, you walk into the conference room now knows who you are, and you've got access to Zoom, Teams, or whatever environment it may be, and it starts the conference call for you without having to touch pads and different devices within the room. Connect, everything is wireless, so you don't have to connect HDMI cables to the laptops and things like that to enable a touchless conference call. So all these things all rolled into a single application that can create a touchless environment for you across the board.
Great. And then, as we talked about before, just kind of the seamless indoor-outdoor navigation part of it, knowing where to go. Imagining this type of solution in a doctor's office or a school situation where you need to know exactly what room I need to go to, or space I need to go to, or say it's a meeting at a corporate site, and you want to know where I need to go to instead of, worrying about bottlenecks where there's going to be a lot of people or that type of thing. This can seamlessly navigate you to the space that you need to go to. So it's a really kind of a neat thing that it provides.
And what better time to plan for a deployment of this than right now, right? A lot of workplaces are working from home. Maybe they're 25, 50% occupancy. This is a great time to not only have this conversation about this offering, but to roll it out, to implement it, because it doesn't happen overnight. So you might be watching this slide and say, yeah, but no one's at the office. We all know we're going to be back at the office. It's just a matter of time. And so this is a great opportunity within this time we find ourselves in to roll out implementations like this.
And to give you some perspective to implement an enterprise facility, we'll just use a full-story complex to digitize everything and bring this type of application to fruition. You're talking about 4 to 6 weeks worth of professional services time and collaboration between the stakeholders and the implementation team that are putting this together. Now, if you're considering you're managing a very large complex, then that'll depend. The first building will come up in the first 4 to 6 weeks, and then buildings after that can come up a week and a half at a time, to give you some time frame for your planning purposes, how long it would take you to implement a solution like this. So it's not something that's just instantaneous, and it's not something that takes months and months and months to do. And the cool part is, once you set up the foundation for a single site, you can just roll it out across your entire enterprise, including international. And the other thing that you to keep in mind too, that as COVID starts to change around the world, you may in France have locations in France that says, okay, we can be at 55% or 60 or 75% capacity, while California is still at 25%. You can set those thresholds so that the two sites can be different in the same piece of software that drives everything for you. So I just, for planning purposes' sake, keep in mind that, you know, solutions like this that we're talking about take anywhere from, you know, depending on how large your enterprise is, anywhere from 4 weeks and beyond to fully implement a solution like this internally.
Yeah, one of the last components that this provides is geofencing, which is really a virtual boundary. So say there's areas where you maybe necessarily don't want the normal, you know, employees to go in certain areas. This can create virtual boundaries. It can give you real-time visibility of people moving in and out of predefined zones, and supports, you know, the crowd monitoring, enables contact tracing. Now I know that word sometimes is a little scary, contact tracing, but all it does is it doesn't necessarily, you know, tell you, you know, who that person is. All it does is tell you that there are this many people in this area and that type of thing, so that it's more for information and not, you know, this person went to, you know, to this area at this time. It's more for counts and not necessarily specific about a person. So keep that in mind. And then we've already discussed this cleaning alerts, you know, so you're there at the desk, you know, pretty much all day. You notify through your app that, hey, I'm done for the day. That assists and lets the staff know that area needs to be clean. And it also will, you know, create a sense of knowing that, hey, you know what, I'm walking into the next day, I'm going to be walking into a space that is you know, that is safe, that is clean and been disinfected. And then indoor analytics. You know, we've talked about this, you know, real-time insights into the workplace and giving us an idea of you know, where people are at. One of the things that Mark talked about yesterday was, you know, for example, say there's a conference room that's already booked, you know, knowing that there's another conference room available, you know, giving you insights through your app on where you might be able to go to meet as a group.
Yeah, that de-densifying of the space, right? Indoor analytics was very relevant pre-COVID, and now in COVID, we've pivoted the use case of it, and we have de-densifying of the floors, right? And to Eric's mentioned the one I was speaking about, this is an offering where, hey, the sensors have spoken, and there's too many people in this conference room, or there's too many people in that area of where your conference room is. The AI, the intelligence within those sensors and the solution set has reassigned the meeting room to the other side of the building because there's not as many people there. And it's automatically sent an email or a text to all participants saying, meeting has been moved. The analytics what we can do with these analytics is incredible now.
Yeah, you know, it's almost getting into behavioral understanding. You know, why are people booking this space versus that space? You know, why are they using this area more so than the area over there? We had some amazing revelations even in our own facilities when we started looking at this from a spatial planning perspective, as well as a behavioral perspective, because we found areas of our offices that people just were not using. And it was either temperature related, or it was simply that we didn't have the amenities set up in that space to provide them the things that they needed to effectively work. So, you know, a lot of the behavioral understanding, it goes into the analytics to help you with space planning and help you modify your space. The other thing is capacity planning. Make sure that as you go through this COVID situation, that you've got you're managing the capacity that the rules say that we're supposed to do. But on top of all that, you can understand the space analytics and then start to plan your space so that you're optimizing the use of the full space and not parts and pieces of it.
I'd love to hear from folks during our Q&A how you're using indoor analytics, if you are using them. So please be thinking about that, and maybe you can share a tidbit during Q&A of if you are using indoor analytics and what for. Eric, did you want to add anything else to indoor analytics?
No, but we can go ahead and move on. So the other thing, that will bring a safety and security as far as a path forward for technology, and maybe you've already seen there's a lot of these different solutions, but this is one that we've been using, and that's a temperature scanner, and it's easy. There's no touching involved. It's easy to set up. It's easy to deploy, and you just simply stand in front of it, and it can read your temperature, and it can also be integrated into your security system, into the IT system, with a badge reader capability and face and mask recognition. So it's a great, simple solution, you know. And we're finding a lot of contractors are using these on site to you know, so that they can, you know, work together and make sure, you know, just have that sense of security that everybody's healthy.
Another use case that we've been requested to have with the thermometer kiosks is having it interacted, having it work syncing with the door badging, like you mentioned, but then having the door open, right? Maybe the facility has gotten rid of the receptionist and it's a vestibule with a door entrance to get in. So you've taken your thermometer, it says your temperature's good, your mask is good, click, the door will open. And so again, touchless entry, right? And putting all of these pieces together, very fluid and COVID-friendly response.
Yeah. You'll also want to consider combining this with the health questionnaire on the applications too. So prior to entry into the facility, they're taking the health questionnaire on their device, and then come in and validate their temperature with one of these devices all at the same time. So the two pieces work very well together.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to kind of move up a little bit, because, you know, that we've covered in the last several slides about, you know, security and safety, but we, as we return back to work, you know, again, we still want to be together, and you know, as we've talked about, you know, there's been kind of that weariness of being on so many Zoom calls and things like that, but we want to kind of you know, we've had this, so you know, there's many different types of cameras, PTZ cameras available for conferencing and things like that. But these are a couple new solutions that we've discovered that we feel that will kind of go to the next level as far as that immersive collaboration. And what we're saying, or what we're discovering with this solution, is one of the cool things about one of the cameras here is it's a 360 camera. So it truly is an immersive solution. And what's great about it is it's self-tracking. So I can move around the room, and if I had that camera, it would follow me around the room. And what would be great, you know, for you know, especially if you're doing a demonstration, a lecture, that type of thing, and you're doing something on the board, you know, being able to, a teacher, you know, or a lecturer, you know, to use this type of solution, you know, it will help.
Imagine, yeah.
Yep, and Mark's holding up the camera there.
Yeah, you're bringing, if you're a teacher, you're bringing the classroom together, right? Look at the form factor on this, okay? This is the camera, this is my coffee cup, all right? This is technology advancing, this is innovation, and this is something that our customers are asking for. And this is an all-inclusive device, as it mentions, right? And there are others as well. This one in particular, built-in computer, small form factor engine. So what do we know? Well, I'm on Zoom. Oh, I'm on Teams. Oh, I'm on Blue Jeans. Something like this device is all-inclusive and agnostic, and you can run your meeting on all of those platforms. And we're seeing a lot of those requests. How do we bridge it together if my customer uses this or I use that? And then this one also keeps the solution set down as far as hardware goes, with all inclusive pieces, including the microphone and the camera and the PC. So really a nice piece. If you're a teacher, you can do the dissection of the frog and people can see it afar, right? You can have a classroom experience with the folks that are in the classroom or in a training room, if you will, for corporate training, but folks are also at home. They are now feeling more a part of it because they can see everybody, and it is immersive.
Yes.
Yeah, we have enterprise customers today that are, you know, most of us know that conference rooms of yesterday are no longer going to be there anymore, that the walls are coming down, it's more open space because of the COVID situation. So we have many enterprise customers that are considering work pods, so to speak, where you put, you know, project rooms or desk in a circle, and in order to effectively collaborate, taking one of these 360 cameras and putting it in the middle of that circular group, so that not only can you collaborate while you're at work, but you can bring in the outside world. Then you introduce things like whiteboards, and you can actually take a picture from this camera on a whiteboard and transmit that to the remote team. So there's all kinds of feature functionality. But as you all consider reshaping the way the interior of your building is going to be for various reasons, then consider things like this as a way to enhance collaboration and communication, because the traditional cameras only point one way as the ones on our laptops do. But these, in a 360, 180 mode, can change the environment altogether for you.
Yeah, one of the things that's great about this solution as well, as we talked about in the beginning, the scalability. And these are super easy to deploy. You know, it's essentially, you put it on the top of the TV or, you know, wherever the location is, you connect it to your Wi-Fi and connect it HDMI to your TV, and you're set. It's really, you know, it used to be, you know, just 5-6 years ago, you'd have to buy, you know, a Polycom or, you know, different type of platform that was kind of an all-in-one. You had to have a codec. Whereas this, you know, nowadays they're all what we call UC solutions, where you know, you're using the browser just like we're using today for video conferencing. And you know, these tie in, and what Mark was alluding to, what's great about this is, you know, before this solution, you would have to buy a camera built in mic, but you would have to connect it to a computer. And this has the computer built into it, and you can preset it to whatever platform you use: Zoom, BlueJeans, Teams, or any, you know, WebEx, you name it.
To give you some idea, it takes approximately 6 minutes to set up this camera. Either one of those cameras takes about 6 minutes, and it's all controlled from your device on a downloaded app. It's that simple. You can deploy it in any environment that you want to, connect it to any device that you want to. It's all wireless, and it takes very little effort to install and maintain.
Another solution that we've been looking at, and this is brand new, is we've seen wireless different solutions, whether it's been Crestron or Extron, you know, an Apple TV, you know, for wireless presentation. But this wireless collaboration solution, immersive solution, takes it to the next level. What this does is basically, it is not only wireless, but you can connect a camera and microphone to this particular device, and and you can run the meeting from your laptop, and so that you don't have to, for example, if you walk in a conference room, I don't have to go to the conference room mouse and keyboard. I can walk in with my computer, and whatever meeting flavor, again, it is, it's agnostic. I can walk in and I can push the meeting through from my laptop through to the camera and the microphones in that particular room. And what's great about it is it's also a digital signage scheduler too, because as you look at that picture there, you know, at 1 o'clock, say I want a Zoom meeting. At 2 o'clock, well, I have, you know, a client that has a Microsoft Teams meeting. I need to be on a Microsoft Teams meeting. So it can be, again, whatever platform, and that's really groundbreaking, because typically what we've been doing is you have to set up a computer with a specific, whether it's WebEx or whatever it is, with a specific type of application. And this is where you can literally walk in with your laptop, connect wirelessly, and you type in a code to connect to the Solstice pod, and you're ready to go. You can present right from your laptop. And again, it will support pretty much, you know, all types of peripherals. The other one of the other solutions that we're looking at, and again, we're kind of walking up the chain, because we, you know, as far as you know, social belonging and connectedness, but as we come back together, we want to you know, contribute. And you know, one of the things that's been real popular lately is the interactive displays. I mean, it's just, you know, a market that's been exploding because of the interactiveness, and they be able to collaborate with one another and save notes from meetings and things like that. Well, there is a new solution available that is germ resistant, and so and it's kind of a cool, you know, thing that it's empowered by this multi-layer coating. But what's great about it is you have a confidence of being able to touch it, and it, you know, it's, you know, for the most part, it's germ free. So that's a great new solution as well. And Robbie, you want to go ahead and share about some of our you know, managed services as people come back to work, you know, with technology.
Yeah, one of the things that you know, this COVID situation has caused on many levels is a reduction in staff and reduction in support for many of our enterprise customers across the board, both in IT, facilities, real estate, all different walks of life. You know, people have had to reduce staff and work, you know, probably overwork the existing staff that they have. And one of the things that we searched for were ways to help our customers manage their technology remotely, manage it from a single point of contact, a single location, and to keep technology up and running and proactively understand what's going on in the environments without the end user being exposed to a situation or a problem. And there are solutions out there today that allow you to do that, to manage your networks, manage your conference rooms, manage your audio visual solutions, and really tell you when there's something wrong, and connect automatically to your service provider, who can send someone out there and have it fixed before you actually are you know, your user would need to use it. So I would encourage all of you, if you have the opportunity, to look at things that can help you manage the solutions that you purchase, and also kind of run a dark office. Basically, it runs itself throughout the whole process.
Nice. Sorry,
Eric,
go ahead.
I think we have some questions that came through on the chat line, and I want to make sure that we address those. I think
Yes.
one of them was, do you see areas where design may be overreacting to the current situation, in your opinion? I'll take that one and start with it. Mark, you and Eric can chime in. But I think what we found in the beginning, people were knee-jerking and running out and procuring. You know, we saw schools, you know, purchasing OWL cameras 360 degrees. We found people, you know, looking at all kinds of different technologies that we've talked about and installing them, only to find out that they spent money that they shouldn't have, because they bought solutions that really didn't work and didn't integrate well with their current environment. You know, one of the things that you want to make sure you consider is, do the products and services that we've talked about also integrate with your building management systems and things like that, to help control the environment, along with what we're suggesting as far as technology is concerned. So yes, we saw that overreaction in the beginning. fortunately for us, we did not overreact with a lot of our customers and didn't do it with ourselves, because we still feel very strongly, as we did pre-COVID, about really sitting down and understanding the business challenges, talking to the various stakeholders and understanding their needs, understanding the integration between all the different facilities and facets of the business, and then proposing something that makes sense for that organization, so you're not spending money that you don't really have to.
It's a much more consultative approach, right? We need to know our customers. We need to know how their business is run and how their employees use their facilities and use technology.
And gentlemen, this is Wayne. I just want to jump in and say that to any attendee, if you'd like to ask a question, please type that in the chat box. And if Joshua sees those, he can ask those of the panel.
Great.
I actually have one right now. One is, we have one geofencing app in use right now, and the staff has been resistant because they don't like how the big brothery it seems. Do you have any advice on getting staff to buy into these tools?
You say they have a current geofencing platform today?
Yes, sir.
I think it all depends on how they're using it, how they're communicating that information to the employees. You know, the solutions that we sell, you're monitoring the device that the individual is using. You're not monitoring the individual per se themselves. So it doesn't have a name appearing on a dashboard and things of that nature. I think people are resistant because they think it's individualized and it's personalized, and in our situation, it's not. So that could help in helping them understand how it's used, what it's used for, and how impersonal it may be. Now, if it comes down to contact tracing, then you may be forced to translate the device information to the individual so that HR and people of that nature can work through that situation to understand who's come in contact with each other, because the software platforms that we have will actually do that for you. We'll track all of the actual devices inside the building and tell you who's come, in contact with each other, so that if someone does come down with COVID, you're able to report it through HR and so forth. But it doesn't defy HIPAA rules, if that makes sense. Does that answer the question?
And Big Brother is a real thing, right? Some people are very private, some aren't. But you have to respect everybody. You have to find a level playing field. And I can recall being in a place of business on a site walk about 2 years ago, and they were just moving to a Teams rollout and doing all their meetings on the desktop. And every
We lost Mark.
Yeah, he cut out. Okay.
Go ahead. Let's answer the next question.
Yep, real quick, someone's asking if this is being recorded. I do want to say yes, it is being recorded, and you'll be able to access it on the CFC website, ifmacfc.org. Did we do the question, does your team anticipate these tools and other innovation resulting from COVID will lead to efficiencies that will enable organizations to shed space and reduce their brick and mortar footprint?
I think what it'll do is the analytics that are built into the tools that we're talking about will give you the analytical data that you need to make decisions about space. As I said earlier, we went through a transformation in our own space because we grew probably 30% in employees over a period of 3 years' time. And 10% growth per year was quite a bit for us. And the owners, anticipated whether or not we needed to expand the walls and build more buildings and so forth to accommodate the additional employees. And what we found is we had inefficiencies in our existing space. And by repositioning things and looking at the inefficiency of the space through the analytical tools that we had, it allowed us to optimize and use the space more effectively.
Yeah, we didn't downsize the space. In fact, we added additional space through the use of our rooms. We added kind of a second floor. So, but it helped for efficiency to know where those spaces were being used and not, like as Robbie said, utilized and underutilized. But it can lead you to different things. I think as we, look what's, right in front of us right now, I mean, I think a lot of, I think at one point, I think, I think we all want to come back to work. So, but I think there'll be some, working from home and efficiencies there by using this app.
Brick and mortar is very, very expensive these days, and managing it effectively and having the analytical tools to manage it so that you don't have to add or even delete. I mean, you may find out, that if you don't have the tools to do so, measuring your space and how it's being used, you could run into situations where you run out of space really, really quick and make the wrong decisions about going too far in the decrease side. So just something to do with these
looks
tools.
Like we have some additional questions.
Yes, we're almost out of time, so we'll wrap it up with this last question. How does the software handle building guests? Does it integrate RFID, or must guests download an app?
Download the app.
Okay, very good. Okay, and we are just about at the end, so I'm sorry?
It could use RFID, but you'd have to issue the guest, like a badge, a visitor badge with that RFID in it. You can then do contact tracing and utilize the features of the system as they come into the building. Hope that answers their question.
Yeah.
No, it sounds good, sounds reasonable. I think actually this is a great place. We're right at the end, so we've timed it perfectly. I want to thank everyone for attending today. I want to thank Eric, Robbie for presenting today and being with us. Have a great day, everyone. Oh, and Mark.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Again, thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to join us for this this presentation. We really, really appreciate it. And again, if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to us directly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.